Well, happy Wednesday evening. This is day 5 of the Happiness Challenge, and I have been thinking of you. We have thousands of people in the Happiness Challenge, and if you have not joined, you still can join. 30-day happiness challenge.com. Day 1, we talked about the overview. Day 2, we talked about the first secret of happiness, which is know your brain type. And we had about 5,000 people take the brain health assessment to know their brain type, because what makes you happy may make your partner miserable. And so knowing your brain type, hello from Russia and Chile. I'm so excited to see you. 2 was optimize the physical functioning of your brain, because it's the organ of happiness. And 3 is nourish your brain. And 4 is love food that loves you back. And that's what today's video was about, loving food you love that loves you back. And food is a critical component to happiness. Did you know there is a linear correlation between the number of fruits and vegetables you eat a day and your level of happiness? And so diet matters so much. And it really depends on your brain type. Balanced people need a balanced diet, balance between healthy proteins, healthy fat, healthy carbohydrates. The spontaneous people need less carbohydrates, more protein, and healthy fat. So Tana, my wife, is one of the spontaneous group, and she does really well when she eats sort of keto, paleo-like. My daughter, Chloe, if she eats that way, she gets mean and worried and rigid and inflexible. She needs more healthy carbohydrates. So there's this one question every day. There's this one question that we have you ask yourself if you want to be happy. Happiness is a good goal. So today's question is, do you love foods that love you back? And that is so important. Now, another part of happiness, Aslan just decided to come in, say hello. I love this dog. He's my white shepherd, and he makes me happy. Okay, go. I'm teaching. He's like, where's my ball, Daddy? Where's my ball? If your diet needs cleaning up, now is a good time. And it's not hard. And I think the more routine you put in your life, the better your life tends to be. And, speaking of food and happiness, this white shepherd here is very sensitive to food. When he was a baby, he was just so anxious. And then one day, he was outside and he was all bloodied up. And I thought maybe a raccoon had got him or something. And it wasn't that. He had this terrible rash all over his body. And I was giving him high quality food. But when we put him on a raw food diet, his rash went away. And then a couple of years later, it looked like he had arthritis. And it was so weird. Took him to the veterinarian. And the veterinarian said he needed a double knee replacement. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. And then took him to another veterinarian who said the same thing. And my wife is like nudging me. We have to do something about it. They want to shave part of his bone off. I'm like, no. And then he got the rash again. And we realized, even though it was a higher quality food, that we needed to just feed him a raw diet with nothing else. And 3 weeks later, he has no pain. And that's been so instructive to me, that if you're struggling with anxiety, with depression, with rosacea, redness in your face, with joint pain, the very first thing to do, the numero uno thing to do, that was for my friend in Chile, is to get your brain right, which means only love food that loves you back. I have someone very close to me with Tourette syndrome. He has a tic disorder, both vocal and physical tics. And I told his parents he should go on an elimination diet. What does that mean? I think all of us should be on an elimination diet. We should all eliminate the crap from our diets. And means eliminate gluten, dairy, corn, soy, artificial dyes, sweeteners, and preservatives, which means you actually have to read the labels of the things you're putting in your body. And in my book, Your Brain is Always Listening, I talk about the bad habit dragons. And the worst bad habit dragon is the oblivious bad habit dragon, where you're just not thinking about your health. So one question, what do I think of TMS for depression? I think it's good. Anxiety can be really helpful. I'm a big fan of it. How bad is dairy for you? My problem with dairy is after the age of about 70% of the population is lactose intolerant. And my big issue with dairy is most of the dairy raised in the United States is raised with antibiotics and hormones. And you get whatever the animals got. That's my big issue with it. My stomach's always torn up with dairy. And I got particularly interested in dairy a long time ago. I'm also a child psychiatrist, so I treat children with autism. And I had a child who was just not progressing. And when I took him off dairy, he gained 50 words in a month. And I was pretty impressed that casein, the protein casein from dairy, mixes with stomach acid and actually produces something called casomorphins, which work on the heroin or morphine centers of your brain. So gluten does the same thing. They're called gluteomorphins. And it's why you love pizza. It's like, why do you love cheese and bread? You love them, sort of like you love a drug. And anyways, back to the story. With this boy with Tourette syndrome, I told his parents. And his Tourette's was so out of control that they had actually been pretty resistant to what I wanted them to do, but they did it. And then he came to stay with me for a couple of days, and I met him at the John Wayne Airport, and I'm always so excited to see him. But he had this glum face. And I'm like, buddy, what's the matter? He said, I don't like any of the foods I get to eat. I'm like, wow. I said, then our goal, he was going to be with me 4 days, is for us to find 20 foods you love that love you back. And that's where I came up with this phrase, only love food that loves you back. You're in a relationship with food. So I took him to the grocery store. We went up and down the aisles. And when he left 4 days later, we had like 60 foods he loved: cherries, almonds, cashews, pistachios, almond butter. He had foods he loved that loved him back. You are in a relationship with food. So I start every day with my brain healthy smoothie, and I love it. At BrainMD, and those of you that watched yesterday's challenge, you got a 30% discount on one of the items at BrainMD. One of my favorites, our chocolate protein powder. And then I put in our Bright Minds powder because it's a combination of two supplements, Neurovite Plus and Brain and Memory Power Boost. Saves me 8 capsules a day. I like that. And then I put a scoop of Neurogreens and something new that we make called Smart Mushrooms that has lion's mane, which helps with cognition and mood, cordyceps, turkey tail, reishi, all have been shown to boost immunity. We live in the age of COVID. You want a strong immune system. Now, not an immune system that's angry at you, but one that's efficient. And that's why I put Smart Mushrooms in every day, put a little stevia and ice and water. It's like 240 calories, tastes amazing. I'll put a cup of berries. And today I put organic strawberries. And that's breakfast. Every morning, that's breakfast. I mean, every once in a while I'll have a couple of eggs. Or Tana's got a recipe on an avocado egg boat. Take half of an avocado, put a raw egg in it, bake it for 10 minutes, and it's delicious. She also has recipes in her Brain Warriors Way cookbook for Tanana pancakes. But I have the shake. And then generally for lunch, I have a salad. And I like a protein bowl for dinner. And every night, Tana is so addicted to me making her brain healthy hot chocolate. If you can get the right routine in your nutrition, and just ask yourself this one question, right? And people go, but I love bread. Yeah, but bread generally doesn't love you back. But I love ice cream. Yeah, me too. I love Rocky Road, but it doesn't love me back. It doesn't do one positive thing for me except give me a momentary burst of pleasure. And then I feel blah afterwards. And I'm reading a new book called Invent and Wonder by Jeff Bezos, who founded Amazon. And I'm actually listening to the early letters that Jeff wrote to his shareholders. And the first one starts off with, we make decisions for the long haul. We make decisions for the long run. We make decisions not just for today, but for all the days. Wouldn't that be amazing? You really want to be happy? Is make decisions that help you feel good now and later versus now but not later. And if you're allergic to chocolate or you're allergic to fish, well, don't eat them. There's so many other choices for you to be healthy. For me, I love chocolate, which is why BrainMD makes Brain on Joy and Brain in Love bars. And people go, so why does a psychiatrist make chocolate bars? And it's a symbol. My grandfather was a candy maker. It's a symbol that there is no suffering in getting well. You already have a routine. You already have a routine. You already have a habit. Why not make little changes to put the right habits in your life to be happy? How many of you have been in bad relationships? Anybody have been in bad relationships in the past? Yes, our products are organic. Cannabis, not a fan. Watching some of these comments, these are really great. Thank you so much. How many of you have been in bad relationships? I have. I was married for 20 years to someone who didn't love me back. I was miserable. I was really unhappy. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be 67 this year. No, I'm not going to be in bad relationships with people. I'm just not. And I'm for certain not going to do it with food. Not something I can choose. So I just want you to think about that. If you haven't joined the Happiness Challenge, it's free. It's for you. You really want to know what I've learned over the last 40 years? Well, I put it in these 30-day Happiness Challenge. 4 to 15 minutes a day, simple short videos, inspiration, motivation. Get your brain right and your mind will follow. Tomorrow's super fun. Tomorrow we're going to start talking about mastering your mind and killing the ants, the automatic negative thoughts that steal your happiness. We're going to talk about getting rid of the bad habit of negativity. Here's an anteater. It symbolizes how to eliminate the ants to be happy. And you want to eliminate the ants around food, like I can't do this or it's expensive. Being sick is expensive. Eating right is one of the simplest, cheapest things that you can do. I hope you find this helpful. Leave us comments, questions, reviews, but go to 30dayhappinesschallenge.com. Sign up, join the happiness brain health revolution. Take care. That's really good.